So, update. It is currently, actually, what time is it? It is currently 1:12 p.m. and we actually had a very productive morning. So, today in the morning, as you saw from our previous video, was that we ended up doing all the readings for composition theory, which was the transfer readings. Honestly, they were pretty fun. There was one in particular that was like talking about a single subject, which was like a professor who didn't know how to transfer his skills from like being an English teacher to like a sports commentator or like summary writer or whatever. And that was pretty interesting because it makes sense because only because you're good at English language doesn't mean that you're an expert in every single field correlating to like writing. So that was a cool reading. Overall, though, it was kind of like whatever to some extent. I appreciated the readings, but it was kind of, I guess, whatever, like I say. But other than that, I ended up doing. I had a to-do list, and one of those things on my to-do list was that I was going to download Zotero, which is like an app or like a program that you use for scholarly sources or for like articles and whatnot. And I was intending to do that a long time ago and I never did. And now I did. So thank God for that. And so now I organize that. And then on top of that, over the past couple of days, I've been kind of managing my workflow in the sense of my dissertation. And so I had previously done the recording with my advisor where we met in person and we recorded the meeting, and I actually managed to like listen to it and make notes on it and all that fun stuff. And now finally, after like having a plethora of notes everywhere, I managed to kind of put it together. And so I made it into a single file or a single Google Doc, and in it I have two projects that I'm thinking of working on, which are both theory-driven based. So it means that I'm gonna talk about it and dissect them and see how the theory takes me. One of them is co-authorship with AI. So how we perceive like what ghostwriters are in correlation to AI and whatever. And so that's what I'm going to be doing for that. Obviously, there's more information in that, but I'm not going to go into it that deeply. And then the second one is how generative AI builds confidence on students. And so that's a whole different genre, a whole different topic, trying to talk about like metacognition and like self-efficacy, and the list goes on. So I managed to put it all into one file, and then I sent it to my advisor. And so now there's two things on my to-do list that are still pending. One of them is that I have to work on my video for today, and so I think I'm going to do that right now. And then the other one is that I want to do some other readings for my identity or dissertation or whatever you want to call it. But I don't know if I should ride the wave on that like sort of energy. I don't know what the word, I'm blanking right now. So yeah, I really do think that I'm gonna work on my video because I want to upload it, get it over with, and then probably come back to doing something else or probably fall asleep. I'm not really sure. I do have to plan what I'm going to be teaching tomorrow though, and the following day, so I guess there's that. So hello, everybody. So my name is Manuel Gonzalez. I am a recent PhD student here at Wayne State University's in Detroit, Michigan. If you're new here, my YouTube channel is primarily week in the life content where I compile the whole week, Saturday to Sunday, into one weekly long video. This whole channel is going to show you the ups, the downs, the lefts, and the rights when it comes to being a PhD student, and when it comes to being a graduate student, when it comes to being a teacher or faculty or an adjunct, or basically anything and everything to do with academia. Right now, the main topic at hand is that we're trying to figure out a proposal for not only my composition theory class, but also my trying to figure out my identity as a PhD student and what I want to study or like what I want to research. And so there's that. So if you're new here, welcome. Hopefully you do enjoy the content, you enjoy your stay, and hopefully you continue to stay. And for those of you who have been here and are still following the whole journey, thank you for watching. So update. It is currently 4:08 p.m. and honestly, I'm not even sure, after just being here, I guess, I managed to, I don't know if this is like wasting time at this point, or I don't know what I'm doing, but I managed to do my big boy activities, right? Or my responsibility side of things. And so I did that. And once I did that, one of the things that I've been advocating or like saying over and over and over again on my YouTube videos is that I want to make an introduction video of like who I am, even though I'm like 27 videos deep at this point, and I don't really think it matters anymore. But I said I was gonna do it, and I'm still gonna do it. And so I've been making I guess it's like a PowerPoint present. Well, it's not like, it is a PowerPoint presentation of like my whole life or my whole journey or whatever you want to call it, just to introduce myself in every way, shape, or form. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Now, obviously, it's very bare bones right now, where I have just a PowerPoint with the blank white layout and then the text, but I want to add photos and I want to make it kind of cutesy and kind of cool and kind of nice. But even though I got a creative writing MFA, I don't think I'm a creative person in general. But I did do the whole like spiel of it, so technically it's done. And assuming that I didn't care, I could just present it like this, being all boring and white and no pictures, just text. But I don't want to do that. So I guess now the question is, what am I going to do? Well, in general, I'm going to turn off my computer, I think, and then I'm going to go lay down and start editing the video for today. So I think that's what's going to happen. I do know that at some point I need to like go back and work on what I'm going to be teaching for tomorrow and the following day. So there's that. But right now I'm going to separate myself from my working side and I guess like relax by editing the video. I'm not really sure how to like classify all this, but all in all, I think it was a very productive day and I'm pretty happy with my day. So now we get to relax a little and see what's up. Hello, good afternoon. Today is, wait, I don't even know what today. Honestly, it's been a day, brother. Hello, today is Monday, October 27, and it's currently 2:26 p.m. And after going to go teach at Oakland Community College and talking to my students and having all that good, fun energy, I got home and I no longer have that fun energy. So I don't know. So yesterday we had a pretty productive day where we managed to do everything and anything that I needed to do for my student side of things. And it even got to the point that I actually managed to come up with 2 projects that I'm potentially thinking for. One of them being my whole identity for my dissertation, and then the other one primarily being for fun. And I'm currently also working on 2 other creations that I might possibly do. All of these creations, all of these thought processes are for theory-driven arguments or theory-driven projects. Obviously, I think what I want to do is I want to do the theory-driven argument side of things because I get to yap and I like yapping. And then at some point or another in my life, I'll do the actual like research-based side of it, which is like having people that I can like study and I do the IRB and blah blah. Or I don't know. So I managed to compile all my notes like I had mentioned, and I managed to put them all together, and I managed to do like some key terms, etc., throughout everything that I want to do on those 2 projects. And I sent it to my advisor, and I sent it to him yesterday through text message. I didn't really think he was going to look at it because it was Sunday, so I don't really think that he works on Sunday, or even if he does work on Sunday, I annoy him so much, brother, that the guy deserves a break. So he didn't look at it and he didn't reply it. the whole spiel, or my whole spiel on that end of the shtick, is that I kind of want him to look at it, and I kind of want him to be like, yes, and then I kind of want him to give me some guidance on the people that I should read, even though I have a general idea of who I should technically read. But I don't want to do it, and then it turns out that like I should have not read that guy or whatever. Or I don't know if there's like another reading or something in particular that would have been better to do so or to do, but yeah. So right now I'm very lazy, honestly. Like I'm going through it. But I don't really know what to do. I don't technically have anything to do. I'm already finished. I guess realistically speaking, I can grade my Macomb Community College stuff, which I'm on point with. The only reason I have stuff to grade is that I have to do the ones that they just did yesterday. So but yeah, I honestly don't know. So I guess technically I can also work on my PowerPoint presentation about who I am and whatever, but I don't got the willpower, so we'll see. On that note, I also forgot to mention that over the course of the couple days, first and foremost yesterday, and then today in the morning, so one of the things that I do since I've been with Sandy is that we go to like festivals, like EDM festivals, and obviously, as everybody and their mother knows, Detroit, Michigan is the mom or the dad or whatever, the founding father of techno, and I love techno. And with that note, I find out that the Movement Festival is here in Detroit, and it is in Hart Plaza's area. So yesterday I bought those tickets, so I'm excited. And then a couple days ago, or like a week ago, I had signed up for early pre-registration for Breakaway or something, I believe it's called. The Breakaway Festival that is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And today it was the pre-sale for that. And even though I read the email that it was going to be at 10 in the morning, I kind of forgot. But then I still managed to remember it because I remember I set up an alarm because I knew I was going to forget. So I ended up getting the tickets of that as well. So I'm going to 2 events, and I'm excited. So, update. It is currently 5:53 p.m., but that's really irrelevant right now. One of the things that I wanted to talk about, which is completely relevant, is it's something that I was talking about earlier. So overall, I have to write a article proposal for my composition theory class, which is the one that Jeff does, or Dr. Prishnik does, who is technically my advisor for my PhD. On that note, we have to come up with something that kind of is going to intertwine with our PhD, I guess, if you want to call it like that. But essentially, I have to write a 500-word paper that describes my research project or what I'm proposing for the course. And after writing approximately like 250 words, which is, I guess, halfway mark, I feel like I already said everything that I needed to say. But I have 2 excuses for that. One, I earned my MFA, which is a Master's in Fine Arts in Creative Writing. And so I've never realistically written a proposal. Probably have written one, but that was probably when I was in my undergrad, and that was a hot minute ago. Besides that, my second excuse is I keep writing this article proposal, and I sound like I'm writing the next Harry Potter. And so, which is funny and ironic because one of the readings that we did for this week, which is based on transfer, it talks about how transferring stuff, like from one sense of English to another sense of English, isn't really like, they don't really go hand in hand. Like, you need to be a professional in every shape and form of like that corresponding topic in order for you to write it or whatever. But that's a whole different conversation. And it's funny because it's making sense right now. Or I'm living in life. But tossing all that rant to the window, what I do have is that I am trying to find, my proposal is talking about generative AI as a sense of a co-authorship with it instead of being a ghostwriter. And assuming that you don't know what ghostwriting is essentially like when you pay someone else to write your whatever, your essay, your book, usually it's for novels. And so you think of an idea of a novel or like the next Harry Potter or whatever, but you know that you personally suck on writing a book or writing in general. So you hire somebody that you know that is better at writing than you are, and it's going to be able to write that product for you. And so you pay them and they write it, and that is essentially a ghostwriter. So in modernized terms, I guess that is essentially what ChatGPT is, or like AI is in general. The only difference is you don't pay them unless you pay the membership, right? Or the subscription. So my argument is that co-authorship with AI is going to be building a sense of confidence on students, and it's going to build self-efficacy. As opposed to ghostwriting, which is going to make you be insecure, and it's going to build what's it called? Training competence. And that is what I'm looking at. And I am pretty excited, but I don't know how to exactly go about the jargon or like the big boy words, because I have never done that. So I kind of wrote an abstract, but it kind of sounds weird. So that's what I have. And that's like, I don't even know how much this is. This is 238 words out of 500. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So I felt like I did everything at that point. Like, I don't So I'm going to take a break from this, because since I don't know big boy words or whatever, I don't really know what I'm doing. I am reading, or I am looking into like transfer. I am talking about, I know that there's like the threshold concepts and like distributed rhetorical labor, but like I don't know if I should put those in my thing. So I need like guidance right now, and hopefully later on I get it, but I'm not getting it right now. So I don't know. So bye, I guess. You know what's funny though? One of the things that I like, for example, right now that I'm going through this like relatively mild crash out, which is, I don't really think it is one, but you would think, right, that I would use generative AI or like ChatGPT to help me write this, but at that point I'm proving my theory. But no, I'm not even using it. But sometimes I feel like I should, but I don't know if that's technically ghostwriting or if that's technically the co-authorship with it. Look at that. It's kind of windy, but look at the nice little city. A lot of things are happening. I thought that was LimeWire. It's so good. I still need to buy the lens for this, but I also very wholehearted need a barber. I need like a beard trim, and I need a haircut, but we haven't really found. So, update, it is currently 5:42 p.m. and I'm finally home, and I have a couple things that I want to talk about, and only one of them is like PhD related, I think. But first and foremost, I still haven't found my barber or like a person that I'm going to go to. I asked my advisor who his like barber shop is, and he sent me the link and everything, and I like studied it and whatever. And then another one of my students suggested like a different barber shop. And then another one of my students suggested like a personal barber. And so I don't know his prices, but I know the prices of the two other places. I don't know if I'm just, well, I'm pretty spoiled in the sense of like my barbers, because my in-law or my brother-in-law is military. So I would go to the military base and get my haircut there, and it was pretty cheap. It was non-existent at that point compared to the prices here. But tell me why one of these barbershops is like $65 for hair and beard to be done. And usually I do my beard, but right now I'm letting it grow kind of rough because I was going to go get a haircut. But I don't know if I want to pay $65 for this. So I don't really know how I feel right now. And so I don't know if that's just me being cheap or it's probably going to be me being cheap. But whatever. Now off of that rant alone, I forgot what the other subject that I was going to talk about that had nothing to do with anything. But while I remember, I am back home and I am going into the process of trying to do the readings for my PhD thing. And so we talked about this yesterday, how I wanted to do the whole generative AI with the co-authorship aesthetic to the whole gist of things. And it's primarily based on Flower and Hayes. So Linda Flowers and John R. Hayes and their whole a cognitive process theory of writing. And that's primarily based on that, kind of, sort of. And so this was article number 5, like from week 5 that I read in Dr. Prushnik's class. And I did read it and I did take notes, but now I'm going to take even more notes. And so I printed that. The other thing that I printed was Rhetorical Reading Strategies and the Construction of Meaning by Christina Haas and Linda Flower. The other thing I printed was Modeling and Remodeling Writing by John R. Hayes. And then the other thing I printed was Self-Efficacy Beliefs in Academic Setting by Frank Pajeras. And then I printed, what did I print? I printed Barry J. Zimmerman's Becoming a Self-Regulated Learner. Then I printed The Rhetorical Situation by Floyd F. Bitzer. And then my advisor, Jeff, or Dr. Prushnik, gave me an Unpacking the Impact of Writing Feedback, Perception on Self-Regulated Writing Ability, the Role of Writing Self-Efficacy and Self-Regulated Learning Strategies by Sun-Hee Huan. So it's a lot of reading. And hopefully I gather something from it and I am able to use this for my project for his class, for Dr. Prushnik's class. Because I have to do a research paper or proposal, or I don't even know what's it properly called, but it's a 15 to 20 page paper that I have to do. And the way that they encompass how to go about a PhD anything is that whenever you're whenever you're doing readings or projects or whatever, that might as well double dip or like kill two birds with one stone. And so whenever I do my readings, I have to think about them, how they apply to me, so I can kill two birds with one stone. Or whenever I'm doing an assignment for any class, that I should be basing it upon what I'm interested in / what I could use for my dissertation. And so that's basically what I'm doing for this one. The project that I'm currently going to be doing and finishing for his class is going to ultimately be my identity for the PhD in general. So I haven't come up with the fancy title yet. I think I'm going to be doing co-authoring, writing in, I don't remember what the name of the article is going to be, like co-authoring writing in the age of AI, something like that. That's probably what's going to be my whole gist of things. Hello, so today is Wednesday, October 29th. It is currently 2:55 p.m. and I woke up in the morning and I was like dreading it. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do anything. And then my stomach kind of sort of hurt. Right now I cooked myself some pasta, some like 3-cheese pasta, and I'm not really vibing with it either. So like I'm kind of going through it. Also, another comment that I wanted to make is if you ever see me wearing these type of shirts and it's like the same color every single time, is that when I used to be fat or obese, I had like triple XL, 4XL shirts. And so now I wear these like to just chill around the house, and they're called my fat boy clothes. And so I never got rid of them. So you're always going to see me like a bum with these type of shirts. But on that note, last night I fully dissected, well, not fully, I'm still working on it, Flower and Hayes in regards to my dissertation. or my project that I'm trying to look into. And so the one that I did is a cognitive process of theory of writing, Flowering Haze, the 1981 one. And so in regards to my co-authorship one is I kind of want to use Flowering Haze as a way to like talk about the cognitive process of writing. And so they have a process or like a step-by-step on how does that go about. So I'm trying to what's the word, reconceptualize AI as a co-author. And so I wanted to do the whole writing process in terms of like collaboration writing, and like in terms of cognition, and in terms of disturbed cognition, and so on and forth. And so as of right now, I'm going to continue reading Flowering Haze and see where that leads me to, but I don't want to talk about it to the extreme in the video, because tomorrow, Thursday, I meet with my advisor, and that's when I'm going to like sit down with him, and he's going to like psychoanalyze me, I guess. I don't know how you would put it. And he's going to tell me like whether I'm dumb or whether I'm smart or what's happening. So there's that. And so now, I think what I'm going to do right now is do the whole Flowering Haze thing. I'm also going to either continue reading some other projects, or I'm going to start grading some stuff that I just have lingering there. Well, I don't really know. I do know for a fact, though, that regardless of what I do today, at 6 p.m. today, we are going to meet with Mal and Josh and Tish to go out for dinner and for drinks and have a good time and fun time or whatever, because apparently they really need it. So I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, I don't really know. I think right now I'm just watching Sarah, which is a YouTuber that I like watching. I'm still not caught up with her vlogs, so if you know who she is, then don't spoil it, even though I kind of spoiled it for myself. So I don't know, man. I'm just going to be here, lingering, probably enjoying my day off. So, update. It is currently 5:47 p.m. and we are going to be going to apparently a common pub in Detroit. Apparently it's like it's obviously a bar or whatever you want to call it. And so I'm going to be meeting Mallory there. I'm going to be meeting Josh, and I'm going to be meeting Tish there. And we're just going to, have a good time or whatever you want to call it. But never been there, obviously. And so I'm kind of excited. But also the whole spiel of this is not only for the update, but also because of the fact that I wanted to talk about that I finally pulled I ripped the Band-Aid, and I actually reached out to a therapist, or like a company that has a bunch of therapists. And so I made an appointment, and I like trying to see if I'm going to like this individual or not. I have my meeting scheduled for Wednesday, but the thing is that when it comes to my meeting, or when it comes to this company, or when it comes to anything in particular, apparently they have a holistic approach to things. And don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with like being like, oh, like coping mechanisms, or learn how to use coping mechanisms, and etc., etc. But I am also a fond believer that if people need medication, then obviously give them the medication, right? So so I don't want to restrict myself to not doing medication, period, because I've obviously been on medication. And as of probably since the trip to Japan, I've been going on and off about my Strattera. Like, I take that for mental health, but then that's primarily like an ADHD medication for me to be focused and have motivation, but it doesn't really seem to be working. And so that's why he put me on Strattera, but I don't know, brother. It's a roller coaster. So I'm going to see how this goes. I feel like I'm probably going to like it, but at the same time, something tells me I'm not. And so I'm so annoyed about this transition because of the fact that I've been with my therapist in California for like the longest time. And so now that I have to go out on the dating scene again to find the right therapist or the next therapist, it's just so annoying. And then assuming that I don't like this one, and assuming I don't like the next one, or the next one, or the next one, like how many times I'm going to have to do it, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of shitty, I'm not going to lie. But, we're going to take that out of our heads and we're going to go have fun. Or try to, I guess. So, do you guys something? Good morning. Today is Thursday, October 30th. It is currently 9:41 a.m. and I am in my office here at Wayne State because in about 20 minutes I have an advisor meeting with Dr. Prushnik, and we are going to be talking about my project and also potential projects in the future that I'm planning out and kind of maneuvering with. Last night it was kind of fun, although I didn't really record because I was enjoying the moment. We ended up going to the common pub and we ended up drinking and having a good time, and they had trivia night even though we didn't really play trivia night because we didn't know about it, but it was a fun little get together. The one thing though was that it was kind of loud. It was very loud in there, and so yes, it was a nice environment, but it's I felt like I had to yell in order to get my point across or to even talk. So there was that. Today there's a lot of things that are happening throughout the whole day. We are going to be teaching here at Wayne State at around 1 p.m. And then we got to go to Oakland Community College so I can go do my PM shift or PM class or whatever you want to call it. And that's basically it. So, I don't know. I think right now in general, I'm going to be talking to Dr. Prushnik. I'm trying to see if my ideas are valid or if I'm just kind of dumb. And so hopefully he gives me guidance on that. I do know that sometimes because of my personality and because of the way how I am, I try to overshoot my ideas or whatever, or maybe I'm too enthusiastic or more overachiever type of personality that I don't limit myself. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but if I think that I could cure cancer, I'm going to do my absolute best to cure cancer type of scenario. And I know that sometimes I got to be realistic about myself and my expectations and et cetera, et cetera. And so the fact is, I need someone to ground me and be like, you're kind of stupid. This is not going to work, right? And so I do understand that it is his job to guide me, so hopefully he does that. But I am pretty excited about the work that I'm currently doing or trying to do. So now I just need structure, or I need guidance, or I need something, a road to walk in. So there's that. The other thing I wanted to talk about, though, in regards to my vlogs and in regards to my persona, is that I'm trying really hard to vlog less. And I think that less is good or less is better. And so what does that mean entirely? Usually whenever I'm doing my editing for the videos, I tend to record a lot of snippets here and there where I'm like, hi, this is 5 o'clock today and this is what we're doing. This is 7 p.m. This is what we're doing. This is 9 p.m. And so it adds up, right? And so when it ends up being a video that is an hour long, and that's predominantly how long my videos have been going for. But over the course of time, I've been trying to say that I'm gonna make those videos lower and lower and lower because I don't want people to be watching hour-long videos assuming that they are. And so on that note, I'm going to try to see how I'm going to articulate myself and also how I'm going to, I don't know, man, make these updates. I guess I'm going to have to update with stuff that is relevant or kind of important and not just say random stuff. The other thing is that I'm going to try my hardest not to do general snippets of the future. Today is Thursday and then tomorrow we have an event, but on Thursdays I'm going to try not to talk about Fridays unless it's at the end of the day when I'm oh, okay guys, well today is over, so tomorrow what's expected is A, B, and C. And so I'm going to try my best to do that because what I tend to notice when I'm vlogging is that I reiterate the same thing over and over again. And the latest blog that I just did, which was the one for Sunday, I kept mentioning how I needed to do my syllabus for like my Oakland Community College and my Wayne State and da da da. And I kept saying that over and over and over again. Like, and I get it, but at the same time, like nobody needs to be told or repeated like 5 times that I need to do that. So that's a lot of things that I need to like control and like get situated. The other thing that I did before and I stop now is whenever I would be like, hello, today is Thursday, October 30th. It's currently 9:46 p.m. here in Detroit, Michigan. And so I took that off. Like, I'm going to be in Detroit, Michigan for 4 years. You don't want me to repeat that 24/7 unless if I change scenery or whatever. But there's that. Hello, so update is currently 3:24 p.m. and we are in Oakland Community College, and after a long day of like a bunch of random activities, we are now kind of situating ourselves on like stuff that we're going to be doing. But overall, it's been a kind of relatively productive day, but it's been also like an all over the place day. And now I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of dreading it, or I'm kind of like dragging my feet at this point. And it's partly because I woke up kind of early and I didn't fully sleep through properly, but like that's besides the point. Anyhow, so I ended up going to meet Dr. Brushnick or Jeff or whatever you want to call it, my advisor, and we talked about my whole identity, my whole spiel of things, and so overall, I feel like there's a couple things that we learned from this conversation that we had with him. First and foremost, it was the fact that like overall my personality tends to be like an overachiever personality, and because of that I want to conquer the world. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing, but it also doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. In this context, it's kind of like in the middle, because it is a bad thing because I don't have that much time to turn in the paper for his particular class, and the project that I was envisioning is like a super long project, and so there's no way I was going to do it for his class. But on that note, taking that away and like pretending that his class didn't exist and now we're just talking in general scope of things, we are kind of excited for the project that I'm encompassing because it does sound kind of promising and it does sound kind of cool. So he told me in terms of his class to just focus on the co-authorship one, and in terms of like the world, I guess, where like I have endless supply of like time, then I should be doing the other project, right? And so I think right now I'm kind of excited. There's a lot of things that I have to tackle and that I have to like embed myself into, but it's kind of complicated. Good morning. Today is Friday, October 31st. It is currently 5:12 in the morning, and we've been up since quite a minute now. I think I've been up since like 3 or 3:30, and we started to get up early for a couple reasons. One, because I wanted to get grading going. My OCC class, my fast track OCC class, finally finished their paper number 2, and they uploaded it 2 days ago. And so now I'm getting to the point of like grading them and assessing them and all that jazz. And hopefully I finish them today, if not tomorrow, because for the upcoming week that is happening, I want to get productive on my stuff, like for me being a student, and I don't want to get distracted by other things. And especially because on the upcoming wave of not this Sunday, but next Sunday, everybody, like my first original OCC class and my Wayne State students turn in project number 3. So that's like already a big like yikes. On that note, we woke up early to do that, and then at 11 o'clock today in the morning we have to go to a conference for the department meeting, and so I have to show face on that. We're gonna have a pizza party, so that's kind of cool. But on that note, I think hopefully I get some amount of work done. It's 5 o'clock, so I have like maybe like 5 more hours to go before I gotta leave my house. And on that note, I'm gonna end up probably grading like maybe, hopefully I do like 10 of them. I hope. but we'll see, I guess. So, update. It is currently 3:30 p.m. and we did a lot actually today. And I'm not really sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing because I don't know how productive the whole situation was. So, essentially, we ended up leaving and I didn't record at all today, but I guess it's a good thing because it's going to make the vlog just a lot shorter. So, that's good. But essentially, we ended up grading some papers. I think that was the last time that I spoke to you guys. And so we ended up grading some papers. And I think from like the batch that I have, I think I only have 12 left to grade. And that's good. But right now I'm kind of like dead on the inside. So I don't want to do anything. I just want to sleep, to be honest. We had done that, we had graded, and then at some point I ended up taking a shower and we ended up going to school prior to the meeting. We went to school, we went to go get a Starbucks, even though they messed up my Starbucks order, but that's okay, that's fine. I still enjoyed the drink. And we ended up going to my office, and honestly, I was falling asleep. I was falling asleep and I was like dying. And so that was whatever. At some point or another, we ended up going to the meeting. And in the meeting, we had pizza and we ate pizza. And that was fine and dandy. So thank God on that end of the stick, I guess. We ended up leaving. Tish did say that she was going to send me some like articles about things that she has done in the sense of like AI and looked into and all that mumbo jumbo. So bless her heart, because that's going to help a lot. And now I'm home. And so I did end up like cooking pasta like a couple days ago. And that's what I've been eating for like throughout the whole week. And I'm almost done with it because I have that. But like, honestly, I don't really know what I'm going to be eating. I'm kind of just going through it, to be honest. Honestly, I'm just tired. So I think for the rest of the day, I'm kind of just going to like chill and not do anything. And right now, I'm probably going to go to sleep, to be honest. And then probably wake up tomorrow and finish grading everything. But right now, I feel kind of brain fog. I feel kind of dead. And I feel kind of like bleh. So I can't even get my whole point across or my whole ideas across. So I'm just gonna shut up now and go to bed. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Good morning. Today is Saturday, November 1st. It is currently 5 in the morning and we are waking up so we can start getting to work. Honestly, the more that I film these videos, especially right now, the more messed up I look. I need a haircut, I need a beard trim, and I think I already said this, but Jesus Christ. I don't know. I kind of like slept okay and I kind of didn't. Honestly, I don't really remember what I vlogged about yesterday. Like I do. You know what? Give me a second. Okay, we're back. I remember what happened. So yeah. But without going back to talking about the same thing. So I ended up not realistically doing much after that. Like I did go to sleep and I did wake up. I didn't sleep a lot. As of recently, I haven't been like really sleeping properly. I guess not the full 8 hours, and I'm not really sure why. But regardless, we ended up waking up, and I don't remember what I did, to be honest. Everything is kind of like a blur, not gonna lie. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there's something there. At some point or another, I did end up getting on with my friend. We played some like video games, and then we watched a show together, and then afterwards we kind of called it a night. I ended up screwing up something on my asynchronous class where I teach at Macomb Community College, and I found out that I screwed up, and I fixed it, and I sent out an announcement, and everything should technically be fine and dandy. I'm not really sure, but for today's agenda, I have quite literally a grocery list amount of things that I want to do on my to-do list. Now, take into consideration the majority of these things are pretty hefty, like for example, grade essays, and so that's probably going to take, if not a big portion of my day. And so I don't really know how much I'm going to get done. I'm also going to wait for a wave of like being morning and people are actually waking up and stuff like that, so I can put in my laundry because I need to do that. And then I also, at some point or another, I'm going to need a break, and that was probably going to be the break where I go and do dishes and stuff. So there is a lot of like adulting / scholarly stuff that I have to do. And so hopefully today is one of those days that I get to do them. Obviously I have tomorrow, but I also know that I have to edit the video that I'm supposed to be posting today, or not today, but tomorrow. So I am gonna probably edit that tomorrow. I'm not really sure, man. I'm like all over the place. Honestly speaking, as a student and as a everything person, so me personally, I'm kind of ahead of the game. I'm on point with my stuff, like in terms of like turning in my assignments as a student and like being on top of my classes and like my grading and etc. etc. But for some reason I have like this, I'm starting to, I don't know if annoyed would be the proper word, but I'm starting to get annoyed in the fact that it feels like I don't have time for like my stuff to some extent. And what I mean by that is that after reading all these essays and after reading like A, B, and C as a teacher and blah, blah, then I get to my stuff. Like, for example, I have to read essays, right? And so, like, let's say I have to read like 40 essays. Okay, so I read all 40 essays today. And then afterwards, as a student, I have to go to composition theory and read like 80 more pages. And so then when it gets to the point where I have to read from my research or from my dissertation or for my, even for my project for my composition theory class, which technically is my dissertation to some extent, like I have reading fatigue. Like I don't want to read anymore because that's the least thing I want to do after doing it for all day. And so I kind of sometimes I'm like look at things and I'm like, damn, like sometimes I wish I wasn't teaching because I would have all this time in my hands. But then obviously like I love teaching and I'm going to forever teach because that's just fun. And then second of all, like obviously to some extent I need the money, so you can't really afford that. So assuming that I was rich, and maybe, but I'm not really sure. On that another shtick, like I don't really know how to like do this process anymore, or I don't know how to go about it. I think I'm gonna make it a thing that every night before bed I read like something that is pertaining to me or like my identity as a PhD student. So like some scholarly article about like AI and whatever. And I don't know, man, because I feel like if not, then I'm never gonna do it. And so right now, like I have like tabs and tabs. Well, I don't have them open right now, but I have bookmarks of these places that I have to like read, and they're just accumulating because I don't. But I don't know. Holy, hello everybody. It is currently 4:13 in the afternoon, and we have done a lot of productivity. Unfortunately, my personal side is like a cluster mess right now because of the fact that I haven't done my dishes. I'm not even going to show it because that thing looks terrible. I haven't done my dishes. I haven't done laundry, which I'm going to be doing now that I'm going to like walk away from like being on the computer. But essentially, I managed to grade all my papers for my OCC class, for my fast track OCC class, the one that happens on Thursdays. And so that's fun. Thank God for that. Unfortunately, some students didn't properly do the prompt, and so I told them that on Thursday's class they're supposed to come and see me so they can do a worksheet where they're gonna tell me how they're gonna fix their mistakes, I guess, so they can get a grade for the thing. On that note, though, I managed to do a lot, and even though I haven't completely finished everything, we did get done with a bunch of little like to-do list tabs. Like I made a whole list on my phone and I click them when I'm done with them. And I don't know how many I made, probably more than 10 or 20, but I think for a huge majority of them I already like completed, so I'm pretty excited. So the the process of elimination has been working wonderfully. On that note, though, I am getting hungry and my stomach is hurting. And then on top of that, I do have some things in general that I have to do, like I said, wash the dishes, put in my laundry, etc., but I haven't done so. So I think I am going to be doing that, kind of like walk away from the computer. Probably turn that off and then go do what I gotta do and then come back to it in the distant future. But yeah, I just wanted to give that little snippet of like an update, but we'll come back. Hello. So, a couple things. So, first and foremost, I have to close off this because I didn't yesterday, and today is technically Sunday. So, but before I do that, yesterday was a pretty whatever day. It was kind of simple. I did a lot of productiveness. I did a lot. But before I get into the whole snippet of what I did, let me get back to you on this. All right. I remember what had happened. So, I ended up doing a lot of stuff from my list, actually. So I remember saying that I had a to-do list, and I crossed off majority. I broke it down into two different like formats. One of them is like a scholarly, and then the other one is a personal one. In my personal one, I had like, I have to go do laundry, I have to put away my clothes, I have to do dishes, etc., etc. So I did majority of that, which is like the laundry. I put away the laundry. I did the dishes because the dishes have been like piling up for like days. I put away the previous dishes that I had on. It was a whole roller coaster thing. So now, to some extent, some of my house is clean. Now, not all of it is clean, but that's a different story for a different day. And I did end up grading a lot, and I did end up doing a bunch of stuff. But that's besides the point, I guess. So I want to see what else is on the list and how I'm gonna tackle it. And so I think that's what the general gist of everything is going to be about. But I do have to close out the video. So for those of you watching, my name is Manuel Gonzalez. I am a PhD student here at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. I am in the English side of things, in the English department. I am in the Rhetoric and Composition subfield, or whatever you want to call it, and I am in the Science and Technology, and my emphasis or concentration is generative AI and post-secondary education. So if you're new here, you are here because I am giving you a week in the life content of a PhD student. You're going to be here for the ups, the downs, the lows, the side to sides, the up and down, etc., etc. But assuming that you do watch the content and assuming that you do like the content, then wonderful. Hopefully you come back. But assuming that you don't, thank you for crossing by my path. Thank you for watching the video, giving me the time of day. And for those of you who have been coming back, thank you so much. So for those of you watching, I'll talk to you guys next week.